tough one.
Yes, quite tough. But we fought a good fight, and I'm happy that I emerged victorious. Yes.
Of course, there have been concerns that have been brought out by your competitor over your win. We haven't really heard you say much about that.
Has he said that he's concerned?
During just after the results started streaming in, he raised a few concerns about votes being stolen, ballot boxes being stuffed. I don't know what you have to say about that.
He didn't take it any further than making the allegations. But I think really, on the whole, this election, in my view, was one of the most transparent and really incredible, because we were all watching as the ballots were coming in. Even in Bomet, you know, I went and visited a few of the stations, you know, and found, you know, everything, especially with the, you know, using the digital system. It was difficult because once your bios are read, it can only be you who's the person that is going to vote. So in my view, it was they did a good job, IEBC, and I'm happy. Well, if my competitor did make some allegations, we would have taken it further if he really believed that there was a problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was one of the battle royales in the governor's race in the country, and especially with the fact that it involved a woman. And of course, it's a big win for women, I must say that, being one of the 3 women who've become the governors-elect in this country. But what do you think gave you an upper hand on Isaac Ruto? Because he also did have strong support from Bomet.
Yes, Isaac had strong support, that is true. And he, you know, for him, even to get that, 80,000 plus votes was, interesting. I would have probably thought that he may have gotten less because of one simple fact, that he was not in Jubilee. Bomet is a Jubilee, predominantly a Jubilee zone, and that was why at some point, if you hear during the campaigns, when he moved to NASA, if you heard, I kept saying, thank you very much, bye bye. You have moved to a different party.
It worked for you,
yes,
didn't it?
yes. But the people in the ground really, I knew, and I knew that they were really going to vote Jubilee, but not just Jubilee alone. My predecessor, I really knew, without really going to a lot of details, it didn't have a lot to show on what he had done in the 5 years that he had been governor. So apart from the fact that the party wasn't right, but also in terms of development, how much development had happened in the ground was another major factor that also affected his candidature.
So what are these things that he didn't do that you think you will be better at?
I think there is a very clear, mandate of the county governments. It's very clear the roles that have been divided for what remains as the national government and what is at the county government. So, like agriculture, there's a lot that could have been done around, because Bomet is an agricultural rich constituency with a lot of potential. I believe that with more focus on development and looking at the tea sector, what can be done, around the tea sector, because almost 18 out of the 25 wards in Bomet are tea growing. I can believe that given the right focus, putting experts to look at what it is that we can do, and it may not just be in Bomet alone. We could even join up with all the other tea growing areas in the South Rift. I believe that tea is going to be key to changing the lives of the people of Bomet. Dairy, another major one. Remember, we have KCC, in Sotik constituency, and we have a lot of coolers. That again could be even managed even better. The cooling plants that we have across the county. We are some of the best. Even if it is poultry alone, even just poultry farming and agribusiness. So agriculture, I believe we need to do a lot more. And I will going to focus myself on looking at how we can improve the livelihoods of the people of Bomet through those areas that I have just enumerated. Apart from that, the other sector that is supposed to be a mandate of the county government was, looking at early childhood education. If you look at Bomet and look at how many schools were put up for nursery schools were put up for the children, you can almost not find one that is completed.
Yeah.
That is not just, so that's another thing that we would ask the members, and they would say, yes, they were started, we have slabs all over the place, but they are not schools that can be used by the children of Bomet. Another area, of course, is health. So health again was a major, not enough has been done in the health sector. And being a woman, really, I want to focus again on maternal health, look at how maternal and child health issues, look at making sure that there are drugs in the hospitals, making sure that, we actually improve those facilities, right from the health centers and the dispensaries. So there's a whole lot of work. But there was too much focus on politics. And Bomet just became very famous for all the wrong reasons. So for me, it's going to be, I want to make sure that it's not business as usual, that more people now, and the youths know that now it is business. We are no longer going to be talking politics from Monday to Sunday. We want them to be, put into some regime, into some work, into making use even of our polytechnics, because that's another mandate of the county government. Look at what we can do to train the youths, skills training, and especially now with a focus on technical education.
First 100 days, what should the people of Bomet expect?
First of all, they should first expect that their governor is going to listen, first of all, to find out what is the situation that I have on the ground. So I can't start running around before I know what is it that is really on the ground. I'll be listening to a lot of the various departments and get to know what they have done in this last, and not just listen. We will also be doing a lot of auditing just to make sure that where exactly are we in Bomet. As we are continuing with that, I will also be focusing on completing some of these projects that I've just mentioned. I've told you about the nursery schools that are just incomplete. I have also mentioned, making sure there is medicines in schools, making sure that, that actually the institutions that are supposed to be operating in Bomet are actually operating, making sure that the Public Service Board knows, clearly takes over their mandate with respect to personnel, making sure that the procurement procedures are clearly spelled out and that they are being followed. So it is institutions. So I'm really just going to do what was not done, follow the law, make sure that institutions are in place and that they work and do the mandate or the work that they are supposed to be doing.
Let me pull the female card. Being one of the 3 women who've been elected as governor, it has been a fight that so many people have watched. And it has put the women in this country on just another level that we've not seen as far as the governor's post is concerned. But there's also the issue of the 2/3 gender rule. Will we also be seeing you try to lobby for this to happen even in the National Assembly, where you will not be anymore?
Yes, it's true. I will not be in the National Assembly. But I must really say that with respect to women, we've done a good job. I believe that this is an election that will go down in history as a very big step forward for women in this country, because in the last election, no single woman was elected, for governor's position, no single woman was elected for senator's position, and then of course even the number of women that are elected in single constituencies was still, we remained at 16 in the 10th parliament and in the 11th parliament. So this 12th parliament, we have now moved from 16, I think it is to 22 or 23 in the single constituencies. And now we have 3 senators elected and 3 governors elected as women. So this is a milestone. Whether this is going to translate into, how much more we need to push the 2/3 gender rule. I mean, I was in Parliament. I presided over several debates around the 2/3 rule, and clearly the male folk were unwilling and really unwilling to and they would use the same argument. Look at yourself. You've been now they would still even say more. You have been an MP for 2 terms. over 10 years. Now you've run for governor and you've
elected.
made it, and you are a woman just like the others. Let the others try. This is the argument they keep using.
So do you think it's a valid argument from the male folk in the
Well,
National Assembly?
to some extent there is some validity, but really, if you expect that all of them, maybe the reason I was able to be elected governor, or even Charity Ngilu, or even Waigoro, is because already each of us had held some, senior positions already. It is not that you're a fresh new person, starting from scratch. Maybe would not have been able to do what we were able to do. So we do need some affirmative action to allow more women to be in the limelight, particularly in the political arena, for them to be there and to show that they are actually capable and are able to be just as good governors, if not better.
But now that the 11th Parliament failed on this,
yes.
do you have any confidence in the 12th Parliament?
I want to be honest, I don't have a lot of confidence. The best thing that they have done now, and I hope this the group that has taken the matter to court now, before the members actually come together and start making agreements between themselves, the best time is now, to ensure, if at all they are going to get anything coming out of it, it is this court case, before the members have come together and are able to agree amongst themselves. Maybe if they say, we cannot constitute this in this 12th Parliament without having a clear program as to how we are going to get the 2/3. Maybe we may succeed. But I can assure you, if we allow it to go beyond once they have been sworn in and everybody starts, they will form the caucuses.
It's going to be the same thing like what we saw in the 11th Parliament. So as a woman who's been elected governor, how are we expecting to see you support other women as far as lobbying for this 2/3 gender role that we are being very pessimistic about?
I'll do my part, what I can do, however, they will require me, whatever supportive it is, holding. The problem is that it is all about Parliament. It's about the National Assembly. It's very good that we have 3 senators. So it's only one woman they require. Even if they were to nominate a woman, they would have met the 2/3 gender rule in Senate. The problem is with the National Assembly that we require 116 women to be elected. Okay, maybe the total number that are not elected to be nominated. Not actually, the total number is 116. But from the numbers that we have now, it's only, I think, 35 or 38 women that need to be nominated for us to meet that rule. So it's that number that keeps giving us problems. It's the number, it's just not enough for us to be able to meet the no more than 2/3. As I've said, I am a bit optimistic, pessimistic about it, but maybe they may manage to get them to do something before they are there.
But if you were to propose, given I'm still on this because I know you have been Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, so you understand the dynamics of Parliament. If you were to propose to the women who will be lobbying for this in the 12th Parliament, how would you advise them to go about it?
The reason I am saying the best time is now, before they have actually been sworn in, and to say it is unconstitutional for them to be constituted. It's not, the Parliament is not constituted or properly constituted without this gender rule. This may be the only window in my opinion. Once they've been sworn in, unless we have a very, very new crop of male members of Parliament, if it is the same old or even having the same mentality, I think we may be really setting ourselves up for this progressive, which is what I think most of them, what they want is for it to be the law to say that we are going to fill this 2/3 gender rule in a progressive manner. The way they have said, these are the rights of, rights to education, rights to food, and, that it will be fulfilled, but in a progressive manner, not with such timelines. Maybe that may be the only way out for us.
The time is now.
And the time is
now.
The time is now.
Joyce, you come from a community where even during the campaigns there would be statements like a woman cannot be elected as governor this particular area, but you've still come out strong out of all that rhetoric that was there in the political landscape of Bomet. So what are some of the challenges you foresee that you might encounter and the rest of the other women who've been elected governor going forward?
Personally, the battle was, during the time of campaigns and getting here. I believe that now moving forward, I don't expect that there'll be so many challenges, because once you start getting down to work, you are. It will not be the issues of your agenda is no longer going to be at the front, at the forefront, because the most that can happen. I can't even see it where, because you have your ministers, you have a very clear agenda of where I want to go. So the issue of now whether I am a woman or a man, I don't think is really going to come in. It was an issue when I was running for office, and they made sure that they were rubbing it in all the time, that this is where the problem was. But to me, moving forward, I just want to assure the people of Bomet that they did the right. And I am really very much humbled by how, if you look at the votes that I had, and if you look at the competitor that I was fighting against, actually most people didn't think I had a fighting chance against Isaac. But the people of Bomet, and I kept telling them, me and Isaac, I only have 2 votes. The real owners of the votes are the Wananchi. And the Wananchi know what the good thing with the electorate now, is a very, very informed electorate. Yeah. What has helped us with this county, county government, is that people now understand that this is their money. This is what devolution was about. It was bringing the services to them. Yeah. So a lot of them now are very, very keen to ask questions. You said you are going to do this, and they take you up on your word. You promise that you are going to do this. And what happened? Why don't we have the nursery schools? Why don't we have medicine why are our roads? They ask questions. So I'm telling you, I am expecting to give or meet the pledges that I made to the people of Bomet, and I have actually made a very conscious decision to invite professionals, because we are going to need everybody's hand in making sure that we get it right, right from the word go.
Right from the word go. Earlier on, when we started this conversation, you mentioned that not only did you think that Isaac Ruto was in the wrong party, but there isn't really much to show for the 5 years he has been a governor. But one of the things that stand out when you mention Isaac Ruto's name is the fight for more allocation of funds to the counties. Is it a fight we expect to see you take on?
Very, very, very much. It's a fight that I expect to take on. He was called the father of devolution. Unfortunately, that's what he was fighting for is not felt at the ground. And that is where that disconnect is coming. He has done a lot of work in trying to, make sure, let's get the resources to the counties. And yes, the resources did come and came to Bomet. But beyond Bomet, because the devolution is supposed to have been, and actually the point of where we were supposed to devolve the funds is all the way to the wards. So that is where the disconnect is. The funds between Bomet and the counties, and the wards and the villages. That is where the disconnect is, and that's where I want to focus. My focus will be devolving the funds beyond Bomet, the center, the headquarters, right down to the villages.
But you agree that there needs to be more funds to go down to the county levels?
I'm sure that, especially for there are quite a lot of projects that need. But because for me, I also believe that there needs to be a very good relationship between the national government and the county government. That we should not see ourselves as different entities. Especially now, this is a Jubilee government, and the agenda of Jubilee goes all the way down to the counties. I expect that I'm going to work very closely with the ministries, both of them, even at the national government, to ensure that those who, instead of making it look like you are forcing them to bring those resources down, that with good working relationship between the two arms of the two levels of government.
Some of your electorate are tweeting some questions for you here. Patrick Taiwa is asking how you will fix the huge county debt left by your predecessor. Is this a concern for you, first of all?
Because I even don't know what that debt is yet. I'm waiting to go and be sworn in. I'm waiting to go and receive reports. Yes. If you remember, I said one of the first things I'm going to be doing is listening to the people. So I'm going to listen and hear what it is. Even that debt, I don't know what it is at this point. But as I said, let's take each step at a time. So if there is a very big debt in the county, First of all, I believe that some of the debts might be real, some of the debts might not be real. So we will need some task force to look even into those pending bills. Who are they for? What were they for? What service was given? Was it properly given? And those kind of questions. So yes, if there is and people, yes, it is we must meet, pay debtors. If we have debtors, we must pay them. But I will ask them first of all, because of the way things have been run in Bomet, I would like to know first of all what those debts are for, and exactly, so that we don't pay for things which were not done.
You're strongly on the Jubilee side, and that is very clear. One of the things that delivered you your win in Bomet. NASA is expected to file their petition any minute between now and midnight. What do you think about some of the concerns that they have raised with regard to the presidential election results?
Well, I can't say I've really followed very, very keenly. But as I said in the beginning, I believe this was one of the elections where, IEBC really were very informative, were receiving very regular, updates on what was going on, was very transparent, and can even be called, in my view, very credible, because the NASA story, from what I hear, is supposed to be around computers and data that was being manufactured at some point. But I don't know how that can be done if you are saying that the Form 34A, which was coming from, is it every polling center?
Every polling station.
Every polling center,
yes.
And which has been signed by the agents from both, both the Jubilee agents and the NASA agents. If it's coming from each polling center, and you have the forms, and you have what came out of the, the results that came out of the computers, if you may call the digitally, So then where is the problem? So I don't want to say they don't have a case, because I don't know. I am not a lawyer, or not even that. I haven't even really heard what it is that they are bringing, as evidence of the claims and the assertions that are being made. But because this is a democratic, that is their democratic right, let them, and I'm very glad that they went that route, because the route of going for demonstrations.
Yeah.
And
so that was a good decision for you.
It's a good decision in my view. It's a good decision. Let the courts now, look through the evidence that they have, and look through the evidence that will be, or the arguments that will be given on this side, and let Kenyans get on with their lives. But at some point, it is good to really accept that Jubilee has followers, and it is very okay that there may be more followers in Jubilee than in NASA. And even if you look at even this landscape of 2013 and now, look at how much votes Jubilee got in Kisii, for example. Look how many votes they got in Western. Look at how many members of parliament they have gotten from Western. So even if the Honorable Raila were to win, which parliament will he work with? Look at the majority of members of parliament. I mean, it's an overwhelming majority, more than the last time.
All right. Finally, Joyce, I understand we don't have too much time, but what will be your relationship from now henceforth with Isaac Ruto? Are you willing to work with him?
Yes. I've reached out to him and said I would want him to come. I'm hoping that he's going to come and hand over to me on, actually we are moving it to Tuesday, Tuesday the 22nd. From Monday he will be duly informed. And I want to really tell him that these are no hard feelings. For me, it was a match. We played, I won. And now it's just shake hands, let's move on. So Bomet is bigger than all of us. It's bigger than me, it's bigger than him. So it's not about personality, it's not about us. It's about the decision of the people of Bomet, and they made the decision that they want me to be their governor. So let him just accept that, and we move on, and take Bomet forward.
There's a very interesting question quickly from Joanna Dora here. She says that your graph has been going like this. Yes. You've been member of parliament twice. You have now become a governor for Bomet. Any prospects of running for presidency in the near future?
And why not? The sky is the limit. Why not? I always take each day at a time, and I say I believe that my life is in the God has a destiny that is a path that is drawn out for me. I just need to listen very carefully and see what that path is.
So it's a possibility you will explore.
Very, 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 very big possibility.
Joyce, thank you very much for coming in. And once again, congratulations on your win there in Bomet County. Dr. Joyce Laboso here speaking to us on Kivumbi 2017, one of the 3 women governors who have been elected in the just concluded general election. And of course, it was one of the biggest battles that the country was watching in the county of Bomet. Well, I understand on our other studios, my colleague Abi Agina is on standby to bring us the business